I have got a PhD in life. I'm spending my whole weekend in my pajamas and I'm not doing shit. You don't pay my bills or suck my dick. So like, what do I care what some random person on the internet thinks of me? And new year, new me, you gotta have some fun. God, Tim, everything you touch just like is amazing. And I want to tell that person, no the fuck it's not. I'm only trying to make one fucking person happy, and that's Tim Castleman. Everything is an adventure. Sue, welcome back to Two Drink Tim. That's an old throwback. We were Two Drink Tim last night, that's for sure. Maybe that's why I popped in there. This is actually Tim Talks. Two Drink Tim is my old podcast. You can go find it. Way different time of my life. You'll be able to tell immediately. We are still in Habana, not Havana. Habana, as they explained to us yesterday. Mm-hmm. And we are just enjoying our life. It's actually a beautiful day. The weather here has been absolutely gorgeous.
It's fabulous.
Sun just pouring into the day room where we're hanging out. You may hear the fan in the background. You might hear it echoey because of where we're at. We're just doing the best we can with the tools that we have. First day, a little stressful, trying to get our sea legs, so to speak, trying to get, figure out what's where, get lost, have trouble communicating with the taxi service. I mean, it was a conglomeration of
learning experience for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So we went to bed exhausted day one, woke up refreshed day two, and we had an amazing day two.
It was amazing.
What was the highlight for you for yesterday?
It's between smoking my first cigar ever.
That was gifted to us.
Yes, which was in Cuba, your first cigar. I mean, you can't beat that.
You hit the 10 out of the 10 right off the bat. Yeah.
And I never smoked a cigar, and it was fine. Like I really didn't know what to think about it, but Tim gave me a great lesson on how to smoke a cigar. So.
Yes, she gets choked up talking about cigar smoking, ladies and gentlemen.
I do.
Yeah.
But I love that. Love that experience. And then, of course, definitely on par with our, which we'll talk about, our rooftop escapade, if you will. That was fabulous.
Yeah, so we Sue and I are kindred spirits in the fact that we're both late risers. Early to bed, late to rise is our philosophy.
Yep.
And so we got a great night's rest. And then we got up, and then we much like we will probably do after this one, we was like, hey, I'm a little hungry. Let's go find a place to eat.
Yep.
So there's an app called Maps.me, but the Maps.me, it works offline, even here in Cuba, which has been a lifesaver. Now, I will tell you, wherever you go, don't just download the app and think you're good. You have to get the specific map of where you're going as well. And get that ahead of time, just to be clear, just to be safe. I think next time I will do all the downloading I can ahead of time, but only because I know it now.
I mean, luckily we do have Wi-Fi in our Airbnb, but downloading that map did take...
Yeah.
Probably took like 15 minutes.
You guys remember Wi-Fi back in the day, dial-up? That's what the speed is here. And I also think it gets data capped very quickly.
I think you're right.
Because in the morning, it was lightning fast, and then we hit a wall, and then it was like molasses after that. But Sue found a place for us and was like, hey, let's go find this place. Sue, by her own admission, has no sense of direction. I have very little sense of direction.
No sense of direction.
So we fucking got lost, right? I think we walked out, took a left when we should have taken a right, and got lost ever since. But we came across this really cool little cafe.
Yeah.
And they call them cafeterias here, and they're basically just small outside restaurants. Most of them don't even have like signs on them until you're up on them, so there's but this one did. And we were like, oh, we'll walk in there and we'll check it out. And they had a great menu. And we're like, cool, well, let's translate. Google Translate doesn't work. Okay.
Oh, right.
As far as the photo, so what we had to do was do the menu by word, trying to figure out, okay,
in the word.
This word means chicken. This means this and that. So the lady comes over and we place our order and we tell her, okay, we want 2 French fries, we want this, a croquette, an empanada, blah, 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 blah. Great, fantastic. While I'm sitting there, I see a box of Cuban cigars just sitting in the middle thing. And I just wanted to see, I just want to open it up. So I go over there and I open it. The head waiter guy's like, oh, no, we don't have any right now. And I was like, oh, I just wanted to see. And that was it. So we sit back down. Probably about 10 minutes later, the fanciest plate of French fries I've ever been served in my entire life. I'm talking about French fries on a thing of lettuce with some type of probably lemon. And now that I saw the color of it, thinly sliced, guys. I'm talking about razor blade thin because, again, guys, that's all extravagance. They don't have that here. It's not like America, like the shit we throw away, the garnish in America, all that shit. Yeah, I mean, they would use that. I mean, they could use that for 10 dishes here. But we get our appetizers. Yeah. I get the French fries. Sue does not. Sue gets some weird cheese stick looking things that we're not sure, but we're
look like mozzarella sticks.
We're not going to fucking argue with this lady. We're going to just eat these and all that stuff. And so we're doing this and we're just looking around. And then this random guy shows up. And I could tell the second he walked in, I was like, this is somebody that is either important in the area or important in this bar because he was wearing 2 watches. 2.
Yes.
Not on the same hand, both hands. So he could tell time no matter what hand it is. He sits down to the table next to us, who by now we've assessed. By the way, these guys are chain smoking cigarettes, which, hey, whatever, that's fine. But they're both doctors. The gentleman that he's come to visit with, they're both doctors. So it's hilarious. These doctors are chain smoking. This guy shows up. They're talking. He's got a tattoo that I see that has a drip, and it looks like a drip of blood on it. And I'm just like, all right, I'm not gonna fucking bug these dudes. I'm looking my own way. And short story long, we wait another 20 minutes, and our food hasn't come out. And I wave the waitress over, and I'm like, quanta cuesta, which means how much. It was like, it's like, hey, where's our food, right? And she's like, oh no, you ordered the French fries and the croquettes. So you got the French fries, me. Sue got the croquettes, and we're like, that wasn't our order at all. You missed 3/4 of our order that we thought we made pretty clear. So we placed another order for what we actually wanted, which were the
little empanadas,
which were amazing. They were cheese
they were
brushed
very good
empanadas, and they were very good. But the sun starts coming into the thing, so she goes, well, let me move you from a table that's out in the sun to out of the sun. We're like, okay, that's great. We start eating. Then the main host guy comes over to us and doesn't say anything. He just sets down an ashtray with a Cuban cigar in it, and a lighter and a cutter, and he's like, enjoy.
You're right.
And what had happened was the owner, who was the dude that came in, I guess maybe they had a conversation, and he was like, oh, gift him one of mine.
Right.
And that's what he did. So the owner gave me
very generous.
A Cuban cigar, which is like $25 US. I think we paid $40 for an entire meal. So anyway, short story long, that was really, really
very nice of him.
Very nice of him. We had the coldest beer we'd ever had here.
Ice cold beer here, I gotta say.
Look, you just walk in a place, you pay $2, and they give you ice cold beer. I could see how drinking could become a problem.
Yeah, and I don't know what time we get there, but like 11:30, maybe. Like everybody has beer. Not that there's anything wrong with that,
Everybody.
Everybody has beer.
Sue ordered coffee, and they probably were like, "Oh, what are you ordering?
What is she having?"
So we had a great meal, and then that led us basically up into our time to do our Airbnb experience. Now, we should also say that we did try to book several other experiences while being here in Cuba, but you can't because it's blocked unless you have a VPN. So everyone said to get a VPN. I thought, what the fuck do they know? What are they talking about? And it turns out they knew what they were talking about.
Yeah, I thought that too. And I'm like, I won't need a VPN. And then,
turns out might need a VPN. Might actually need 2, according to our Airbnb.
Right, that was interesting.
Experience. Yep. So we get a taxi. $5 instead of the $20 it was the day before to take us to the exact same location practically. So it was like, okay, all right. So we get the taxi. We step out. The lady's waiting for us on the rooftop. She waves us up. She's got a beautiful boutique hotel.
Absolutely
Airbnb,
gorgeous.
4 rooms. Modern, state-of-the-art inside, beautiful, all the stuff. Mm-hmm. She was a judge, ladies and gentlemen, in Cuba. She graduated law school and basically started working in the judicial system and didn't even have to wait 5 years, and she became a judge. For her to be a judge in Cuba, she got paid $40 a month. That was her salary.
Crazy.
And she was like, I have to quit so I can afford to take care of my family. and I want to open this Airbnb. So they did, and then she also has a rooftop bar, and I think that bar is only for her people there at the staying at the
hotel,
Airbnb or doing the experiences.
Right.
But just an absolutely beautiful building, absolutely too many steps to get to the top. But we do, and we do this Airbnb experience.
Gorgeous view of the city.
Beautiful, gorgeous view.
She has it decorated so cute.
I thought
super nice.
We were signing up for a let me tell you about the drinks you're about to drink experience. What it really was a you're going to make the drinks you're about to. Do you know how much meddling goes into a Cuban mojito? Because we do. Because we got to experience it from start to finish with all fresh ingredients and all that. And it was fun. Don't get me wrong. I'm saying it obviously sarcastic, but it was super enjoyable.
Very fun.
And very informational. And you're just like, oh, I totally get it, you know.
So to us, we have limes. They refer to those as lemons.
Yep.
And apparently they don't have lemons here.
And if you
much
do get
to my sadness, because we all know how much Sue loves lemons.
They're called French lemons.
That's right. If you were to get one, So when we get back to the States, just nothing but French lemons for me.
French lemons for me, please. Excuse me, like French lemons in the traditional biblical sense. You know what we mean.
Yeah.
But while we were there, in between us making these drinks, which were fun, we asked her all the questions that you do as tourists and stuff, and that's when she explained that she was a judge, but she had family here. Her father, who I think has since passed away over in Italy. And gave her an inheritance, and with that inheritance, her and her brother were able to pull it together and at least start this Airbnb. And that her brother, what was he doing before he became a farmer? Didn't he have like a little shop or something? He had a shop. And then during the pandemic, obviously things shut down, so it wasn't making enough money. So he asked the government, he said, hey, can I have this plot of land so I can become a bean farmer?
Yeah, grow beans.
Yeah. And they're like, yeah, absolutely. So he grows all the beans. Yeah. He does all this. He's got to fight off thieves that show up in the middle of the night to steal it all so that they can go sell it.
Right.
And then once he does get it and he harvests everything, then he's required by law to sell 90% of that harvest to the country of Cuba at a severely discounted rate.
Yeah. So it was not a good deal for him.
It wasn't a good deal. And he only did it one season, then he stopped. And the fertilizer that he said he made more money selling that fertilizer than he did his whole season of being a crop, bean farmer, if you will. So that was just really interesting to kind of hear the way of life. Random things. They can order stuff off Amazon, but it takes months to get here.
Months and months.
There's limits. You can only import 10 light bulbs per person at a time or per address at a time. So she would get like a string of lights and have to chop it up basically over 7 addresses so she can get everything. Yeah. And then when you get it in there, if you have over it, they go, oh, no, that package must be returned and repackaged correctly. You can't just go in and go, fuck, I'll pay the fee or I'll pay a fine or I'll pay a tax. It's like, oh, no, we've already sent that package back because it was bad. It's like, oh, shit, okay. All right, interesting.
So many things we take for granted. Like ordering more than 10 light bulbs or ordering anything, Yeah, I mean, having lemons.
Yeah, having lemons, access to meats. I mean, just things. And again, it's not terrible here. They are a remarkably resilient people. They just kind of adjust. Like I saw cars broke down several places in the streets where they were driving, and all they do when that happens is they just pull over and they work on it right there. Right. And it's typically another motorist will stop and help them, kind of get it back. It's just a thing. It's like, oh, my car broke down. Cool. We'll collectively work on it to get it fixed up and get you back on down the road type thing. So they're remarkably resilient, and they love their country, and they love being there. And it's not like I love the country because the police or the military tell me I have to. They really, because I asked them, I was like, why would you stay here with all these things?
I thought that was interesting.
And they're like, I love my country. My family's here, and it's not that bad. Like we make do with everything. But she told us like The cost of eggs have gone up like
Oh, yeah.
sevenfold.
Everything's gone
Cooking
up.
oil, she said, used to be like 50 pesos. Now it's like
Right.
$8, you know? I mean, everything. And she is in the fortunate position because she's a business owner and all that. She pays somebody to go to the market because she doesn't have the
right.
time to stand in line to go or to go find everything
there's
she
lines
needs.
everywhere,
So she
apparently.
basically tells this guy, hey, Manuel, here's what I need. He goes and finds it, brings it back, and she pays him.
Yep.
And in Cuba, tipping is not required, but it is appreciated. It's basically you know, because I've been in some countries where they're like, no, we don't take more tips. You pay our exact amount. In Cuba, you can tip. They'll be fine with it, just fine.
That was good to know.
Yeah,
Yep.
and then we were like, let's go and have an amazing meal, and let's do seafood if we can, as close to the ocean as possible. So we found a great place called
Casa Mia.
Casa Mia. I almost said Mamma Mia, and it was like a very fancy, white
yes.
tablecloth-ish location.
Like, you know, a
with
stone's
expert
throw from
servers.
the ocean. Beautiful view of the ocean.
And it was perfect because the sun was setting, so we could see that happen as well. And the food was really, really good. I got beef, and you got fish.
I got fish.
Now, these are Cuba-sized portions, not American-sized portions.
Yeah.
I got like one rib, beef rib, and it was delicious, you know, but you're like, okay, in America, there'd be 12 more of these, you know. But the food was good. The drinks were great. The service was awesome. The location was phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
Although I do laugh because our Airbnb host, she's been nothing short of amazing. She's got us taxis. She booked us a reservation at this place. She's like, it's close to the apartment. You guys can walk back.
Yeah.
It was over a mile and a half away from the apartment.
Close to her, maybe.
Is Cuba close, but ain't America close. And it ain't Tim Castleman's fat ass close. But it really wasn't that bad. We took a stroll, as you like to say.
I'm a stroller.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we did get to walk around and see we saw some kitties.
Yeah, the cats.
We saw an Italian place, which I think we're going to probably check out tonight.
Yeah, they had a band. They were like, you know, come on in, see our menu.
Very friendly.
Everyone's so friendly. Yeah, we'll say that.
So it was just a fantastic night experience. And the other thing is, we get back here, I think it was 9 o'clock, and we were both yawning like we are now. And it was like, I think we're going to bed. Yeah, so we went to bed at like 9 p.m., which
I'm exhausted.
I never do that back home. I mean, I think if I had malaria, I'd go to bed.
Yeah.
But you're just tired. I think, I didn't check. Did you get an official step count from yesterday?
Oh, you know what? I didn't, but we're walking a lot. We're like, you know.
I know we did at least a mile after dinner, which is fine.
Easily.
And we walked around, which again is good. Like, you know, that's just how it is. Again,
right.
And you're walking down, and you're like, God, these are beautiful trees. And then you see the sidewalk is all tore up from them. You know, I think we saw our first gas station yesterday because I was like,
not a lot of gas
driving,
stations.
but I don't see. We saw that. I saw a road crew actually fixing a pothole.
Really?
You know? Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And we saw what I would say is like the real side of Cuba as far as the people you know, walking and different things like that. So
we've seen a couple of either, you know, abandoned, like big houses too. That big house that was abandoned, and then there was another smaller house that was totally, like, even the walls were half torn down, completely abandoned. Like, just, it looked like it had gone through a hurricane kind of a thing.
It would be interesting, and I obviously I don't think they would do it, but it'd be interesting if the country went through and said, okay, all of these abandoned buildings and all that are in such disrepair that we just know we're never going to be able to afford, and we're just going to tear them down. We're just going to bulldoze them.
Right.
And I'd be curious to see how much land would be open, you know, in Havana doing that. And,
there's quite a few.
Yeah. And the only new buildings here are the ones brought in with a joint partnership with the country and the hotels.
Right. That's what she was saying.
So when you see a building in Cuba and you're like, man, that's beautiful and it's modern and all that, 99.9% it's a hotel. Because
we did see some really nice buildings, especially, you know, last night down by the water, and they look beautiful.
Brand new almost. Yep. saw our first truck here. And when I saw that, I was like,
the Silverado.
That dude. And it was special rims on it, no less. I'm like, that dude has to be loaded.
Right.
Because I couldn't imagine what that took to get that vehicle
I can't imagine.
into the country and then also to keep it going.
Right.
You know, like, yeah, it's like, yeah. I'm sure even people that have vehicles are like, you have a truck? What the, so.
Right.
Yeah. It's pretty interesting. Pretty
It's
interesting.
been fascinating. And then, the people driving around on the little scooters. Like I was telling when we were at the restaurant.
And they have a little flatbed in the back of the scooters.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And that's how it's like, oh, you need ice? Cool. Or you need bottled water? All right, cool. Well, there'll be one of these coming around and they'll have a dude and that's all he has.
Yeah.
This bottled water for sale. And not like, I don't mean that to you and I as a customer. I mean to the businesses or the locations or whatever. So, there's not like, there's no Amazon truck dropping off supplies. It really is these little
We haven't
carts.
seen one Amazon truck.
Yeah. Or like last night when Miguel came, like he just brought him a bag full of beans. What do you say? Maybe 2 pounds of beans in that thing? You know? Yeah. So it's not like you're going and getting a 50-pound bag of beans or anything like that. It's like, oh, okay, you need beans? Cool. Do you need a pound or 2 pounds? Because that's what you're getting.
Yeah, that's all. Yeah. It's tops. So, it's been very eye-opening,
yes,
I will say.
Beautiful weather.
Yeah.
And we got to see the sea walk and the sea wall yesterday.
Oh, yeah, the Malecon.
Seems like a lot of people, that's where they hang out.
Yep.
And I think that would be great to go down by sunset or close to sunset and take photos.
I think you're right. Yep.
So it's just been an eye-opening experience. We were supposed to go to a tobacco farm today and check that out, but the Airbnb guy, I couldn't book through Airbnb because I'm in Cuba and I didn't have a VPN. So it turns out they were right, and the guy just totally changed his mind. I was like, yeah, no, I've already given your seats away to somebody else. So today is an unplanned relaxation day, but Monday. We're headed off to go see Ernest Hemingway's haunts.
Yes.
And his favorite bars where they drop us off at the end.
Right.
Which will be great to have a couple drinks in.
That's going to be fun. And that's in an interesting area because we were there the other day.
Yep.
With the so-called food tour.
Yes, our walking tour. We'll just call it the walking tour.
Yeah, it was really a walking tour.
Yes.
But there was some beautiful buildings down there. I think that was kind of near the Capitol building, which was just gorgeous.
Yeah, of course, yes.
Yeah.
Any military installation or building is going to be pristine condition.
Right.
It makes sense, right?
Yeah.
I totally get it, yeah. And but no, you're right, because it looks like a beautiful bar that's very ornate and all that, and then you go 2 streets to your left or right, and you're walking on broken cobblestone streets where people they don't even have signs for their businesses. They just have a door open. Yeah. And it's like, I don't know if that door is like, and then you look in and they'll like have a table where they're sitting at and just waiting for people to come in. Yeah. So it's a weird thing. It's like, okay, is this someone's house? Is this a business? It's very, very interesting how all of that works.
Yeah. And just like the streets, they don't have street signs, but they have those little
numbers.
Yeah, the number thing.
And I will also say, I want to brag on her, right? We had trouble getting home the night before last, even though we were 2 blocks away from our Airbnb. This way, we walked over a mile, and Sue got us there from beginning to end, no problem.
Yay!
Yes. So thank you. Thank you, Maps.me, but more importantly, thank you, Sue, for being our great navigator and
I'm trying to get better at that.
Keeping us out of trouble, so to speak.
My worry factor went down a little, so I'm working on that as well. Trying to not be worried.
The thing is, no matter what, we're going to be okay. And like I told Sue, look, when in doubt, we know where the Capitol is. We can walk towards that. We'll run into somebody, police, military, some government official.
Although, I'll be the first to say, I feel totally safe here.
Yeah, there hasn't been any time where I've, clutched my pearls or been like, oh, shit, these people are going to steal. And, when we got out of the cab yesterday, we couldn't, obviously we just had stepped out. We were looking around, trying to get our bearings, and the lady was trying to get our attention from up top, and 2 or 3 people stopped and said, Senor, pointed up.
Yeah, very nice.
So they're
Everyone's
very helpful.
friendly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be a lot of animosity.
No, not at all.
Among them or towards us. Yeah. And everyone's been great.
It's a great set of people here.
And that's why I'm glad
sweet.
that I came, because it's like this is exactly I want to see this shit for myself. I don't want to hear what my government has to say or someone from 20 years. It's like, I want to be boots on the ground, so to speak, here and be able to say, well, that wasn't my experience at all. And in fact, if you're thinking of a destination, and you understand you're going to have to deal with some little inconveniences, but none of them have been deal breakers. It's a great place to visit, even for us rich, spoiled Americans.
Yeah, it's a great place to see dogs and cats.
Lots of them. Can't bring them home with you, Sue. I keep telling you. Yeah.
There was a dog at our Airbnb experience, though.
That we took a million photos with.
So sweet.
And then I had to text back home and be like, I miss my doggies to my housekeeper, house watcher, and then be like, hey, there we go. So it was a good day, and I'm looking forward to a relaxed day today. We're going to do some walking around, some more food eating, find some more little cafeterias maybe. Who knows?
Yeah, I think that, maybe we can get lost again potentially,
Adventure calls is what I'm saying.
Yes. And this is an adventure to the max. I'm very excited.
It's been a great trip so far, and hopefully it will continue to be, and we'll continue sharing them with you guys in episodes of the podcast. So the reason we're so in depth with it is like, hey, this is our experience, and I want to share the highlights with you and what we're going through kind of on a day-to-day basis. So as always, thank you so much for listening. Do me a favor, rate, review, subscribe, leave a comment, share it, send it to my exes, your exes, random people on the internet, spam people, do whatever you feel like you need to do to spread the word of Tim Talks so that we can go on more exciting adventures like this and bore you with taxi talk of what's going on in the world. So thanks for listening. You guys are amazing. As always, we'll do better next time. We'll see you then.